My name is Tavifa and I've been doing a lot of videos about my life as a musician, my life after graduating. I mainly have a lot of vlogs, but today I wanted to go back to a video that I made a year ago. You loved that video so much. I think the chances are that if you are subscribed, you are here because you watched that video. Some things have changed over a year and I wanted to kind of go through it back again. When I thought about filming this video, I was sort of going through the things that I'm gonna say or things that I'm going to show you, and I realized that some things didn't change, and I thought that would be boring if I'll talk about the things that you already saw. But at the same time, it means that those things work, those things are high quality, those things will always be part of my life even for later. So I think it's good to mention the things that haven't changed, and also we'll mention a few things that changed because I did have a few changes in my violin setup and the things that I'm using. Welcome to this channel and let's dive in. So first, we have our violin here. I bought this when I was getting ready for college. It was probably about 2 years before that. I remember this case was on my bucket list starting like freshman year in high school, and it was so expensive. I was making probably like $30 a week on the weekend because I was teaching violin. I couldn't see when I would be able to buy this case, and I remember looking it up and it was at sales and it was like $350. I have no idea what it costs today, but I assume it costs like double because it's genuinely a good product. It comes with a bag that you can attach here in the front. That's why we have these screws. And also it comes with a bag that you can put here in the back. When I go on flights and I travel, these bags are very useful because if the carry-on is too heavy, especially with the music that we carry, I always put all my books in these two pockets. And yes, the case gets incredibly heavy, but at the same time, I can just only have the carry-on and just be a happy traveler. When it comes to weekly commitments, I take those bags off because I simply do not want to carry extra weight. I also want to apologize because in the last video I said that this is incredibly heavy. Well, after that I kind of carried someone's cello and then I carried someone's guitar. This is not heavy. This is heavy compared to other violin cases on the market, but it's not that heavy. It's still doable and it's a great case. Obviously it has like a locker combination which I never use. I'm forgetting things all the time, and the last thing that I want is to get to a rehearsal and not be able to take my violin out. That would be quite insane. I also have the key, which is usually in the case, which is a terrible idea because the key should be with the keychains, but it lives in the case, so that's why I never lock it. When we first open the case, we have my beautiful bow, 4 compartments for bows. We also got this little tube which you can hold bow hair in it. I don't know why, some people do. Then we have the other side. What I love about it is that it has a specific place assigned for the shoulder rest so it doesn't wobble. It also has this pouch. Now sometimes you walk and you can hear like little noises. That bothers me a lot. So the fact that everything is so secured and it has a place is perfect. The thing that I love about this music case is like this box, and you can readjust this middle part. You can literally just take it off. If you buy this and you only have 3/4, but if you like, you know what, I want to buy a violin case that's gonna be in my life forever and I want to buy a good one now, just don't buy 3/4, buy this case. You can just readjust it so that way your violin is not gonna wobble and you're gonna have an amazing case for the rest of your life. Let's talk about the violin. So one thing that hasn't changed, and I'm so lucky that it hasn't changed, is this beautiful violin. It was loaned to me. Violin itself is made by Hiroshi Izuka, and I love this violin so much. The fact that I get to play for so long, it was rented to me for my senior recital, and since then I played probably 9 or 10 orchestra auditions. I played many concerts. I taught a lot, so it's all using this instrument. Just gorgeous, beautiful. When it comes to violin, I want to say that it's just like our body. If you prioritize your health, that yearly health check is important. Same with the violin. We need to take it to the luthier once a year to double check if all the placements are correct. Once you get to the professional level, there are certain angles on certain position of the bridge, of thing inside. Everything can affect the sound that you're producing. So it's important to constantly go and have a feedback and be reassured that your instrument is good, has everything correct, and you are good to perform. One thing that hasn't changed is the body of the violin. I haven't changed that. The pegs are the same. Everything else is the same. But I did change my shoulder rest. I was still having a lot of discomfort in my jaw when I was playing. We have a violin shop close by, which is amazing. They gave me 25 chin rests to try out. I knew that I don't want plastic, that I want wood. So that kind kind of took out a lot of options, and in the end I knew that I wanted one that's a little bit taller. Out of the two I tried out, I ended up with this chin rest. That's the only thing that changed about the violin. Bow is still the same. It was also given to me with the violin. I love how the bow grip feels. The weight is pretty good for me. I'm able to do a lot of great things. I think maintenance wise, you have to rehair your bow also once a year. One thing that I have to mention is that in long term in my professional career, I'm sure I will have to return the violin at some point, so I hope to actually own a violin that I could call mine. Maybe in a few years when I make another of these videos with updates, I can update you on a bow that fits me even better. A lot of musicians do not own their own instruments because they're so expensive. Sometimes organizations let you rent their things. They have collections that are very expensive. Instruments are usually damaged if they're not played. They age bad if they are not kept alive. A lot of those organizations share those instruments with people. Either that, if I get a job for a very fancy orchestra and they're gonna let me use one of their instruments, or I end up buying my own instrument. With this bow, I struggle a lot to play spiccato. It's such a tough bow for spiccato. Everything else is just, all bow strokes are amazing, but spiccato is just, every time when I play Midsummer by Mendelssohn, or when I play Don Juan and I have that last section of the excerpt, it's just so hard. And obviously a lot of Mozart too. I noticed that even when I do those excerpts, what really helps me increase the quality of my playing is just simply move my bow grip a little bit higher and have my fingers a little bit closer, and that actually helps me a lot with the bow stroke. Another thing that has changed since last video, it's my shoulder rest. Now I play with Kuhn shoulder rest. I switched it because again I was struggling to have my jaw comfortable. Because I switched my chin rest, I also wanted to find the best combination between the shoulder rest and the chin rest. At the moment, this is what my setup is. You can see it fits me perfectly and it's comfortable, and I can hold my violin this way for long periods of time, and then when I actually play, my left hand doesn't get exhausted. And there's this one in particular that I'm genuinely excited to try at some point and see how it's gonna feel. A few friends of mine got it. It is expensive, but they keep saying that it's perfect. So honestly, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just hoping that someday they reach out and ask me for an honest review, and that's how I'll end up having it. We have two cloths. I always prioritize washing them, if not weekly, at least monthly. First, I have this cloth that I use when I play. I don't know why, but my skin has been so irritated when I play violin. Now we take that in combination with makeup, is just a big no for me. I've been switching this cloths. It's been helping me a little bit better to not have scars and irritation. I will continue having this cloth, that didn't change. And I also have this bigger cloth, which is very gross and disgusting at the moment because it has all these stains, and the yellow ones are actually from the rosin. I use that to clean my violin every time after I practice. It's surprising that a lot of people don't know how to clean their instrument. You do have to clean your strings. Gently clean your strings because your strings shouldn't have rosin left. You have to clean the body because over time the rosin that is left melts into the varnish, and then you have to give a huge makeover for your violin. I usually put the cloth and I let it go through, and then I clean it all the way through in the back and under my chin rest, so that way the violin is always beautiful and clean. In my previous video I asked you what am I missing. A few of you said that would be cute to have some photos or autographs of musicians that I admire and that inspire me. I love that idea, but for some reason I'm such an emotional person that just seeing a photo here with my old teacher, or seeing a photo here with my mom and I when I was a little girl and I played this tiny little violin, I didn't want to emotionally feel those feelings every time when I open my case, or grow cold to that. I want to feel those emotions when I look at those photos because I think those are great things. Another thing that you said that I should put in this pouch is some snacks, which is an amazing idea, and I kept thinking about it. The problem with snacks, it's just that if I see it, I eat it. Because of that, I do have snacks that I carry in my bag, but I will not have snacks in my violin. And then there are some other things that you told me about and I did put in here, so let me show you. First thing that we have here, metronome, which is not perfect, but it does the job. Then we have my rosin. This is the rosin that I use. I'm not gonna switch anytime soon because it's so nice, and I'm so proud that it hasn't cracked yet. When you rosin your bow, you have to hold on to the rosin, not to the cloth, because it gets wobbly. You rosin all the way at the frog, as close as you can without breaking your rosin. and then you go here and you do it at the tip quite like a few times, and only then you go back and forth. A lot of people avoid playing at the frog and all the way to the tip, but it's not because it's technically difficult, but it's also because the bow doesn't produce pretty sound. And the reason it doesn't produce pretty sound, one, it didn't resonate properly, and two, you've been holding it here with greasy hands. I have a funny story though about the greasy hands. I was supposed to play at my brother's wedding. Right before playing, this little adorable tiny human approached me, and it was so sweet, and I was like, oh, look at them, they're so excited about my violin. I let them touch my bow. What I did not know is that when they touched my bow, they just had like a piece of chicken or something. I walked on stage and I started playing, and I kid you not, the middle of my bow wasn't producing sound, so I ended up playing the whole piece at the frog. This pouch, which genuinely has random stuff. I have this, I keep calling it this thing, but I genuinely forgot what's the word. I have 2 pencils, old tuner, which is amazing. I don't use it as much because I actually use an app in my phone called Tunable. I often use that for metronome, and I always use it for tuning, and it's made by one single person that's a musician, and this app has been updated so many times to fit everyone's needs. It's just an amazing app, and I recommend downloading it and having it in your phone. Band-aids. Then these are the 2 things that you told me to add to my violin case, and I did. I have this nail clipper that I don't use because I cut my nails with scissors. To be able to play well and have consistency, we all have to cut our nails weekly. I'm shocked by how many students don't do it and are set back, because then you have these long nails and then you start shifting, and the only thing that I hear is like, but we're working on it. A lot of my students now are way better. Next, we have this humidifiers. In my last video, I showed you how to use them. So if you don't know how to use humidifiers, I recommend just going and watching the other video. Then I have this little sponge that I used to use before. Now I don't because I have shoulder rest, but I keep this rubber bands and this sponge in case my students forget. I let them borrow this. And then I have these 2 little stickers from a summer program that I attended. I have so many stickers that I keep thinking that someday I'm going to put it on top of my case, but I never do it. Then I have these strings. Half of them are mine. I have one set that's completely new. I have some of them that are old. And I also have student strings. These are the brand that I always recommend people to buy for their students. They're affordable, they're quite nice. And then I also have this little note from my assistant. He just was telling me that one of my students was in orchestra, his strings snapped. G, D, and A strings all snap. I keep this because it reminds me how much I care for these students, and I really love them, and I love teaching them and the relationships that I create with them. Hair tie, C protector, which is not used anymore. It's just broken at this point. I still keep it. C protector is sort of the thing that you put here. It looks like a C. When I first switched violins, I remember this violin seemed so different than the other one I played that I kept clipping off this side. So I practiced with this, but then I took it off. And then the last few things, earplugs, because if you play in an orchestra and it's too loud, you gotta protect your ears. I have this mute that's usually for when I travel for auditions, stay at hotel and I need to practice, but it's 1 a.m. and I don't want to be kicked out. I have this mute for fun, so it makes this metallic sound. And then I have this, is the thing that I use for my pegs when it's very difficult to tune it. We have the fun tuners. A lot of professionals don't have it all because the lesser things you have on your instrument, the more beautiful your violin will sound. So a lot of people that I perform with will have mutes but keep it in their pockets and sort of like get it, put it on their instrument and then take it and put it in their pocket. They don't even let it leave here like I do. And also they don't have fine tuners. I have only one fine tuner. I don't have our 3 for the same reasons, but E string is just so hard for me to tune using pegs. That means that every time when I tune with pegs. It is very difficult. Sometimes the problem that everyone runs into is that when you try to turn it forward, it doesn't go and it just like feels impossible. So just remember to kind of move it back and then put it back up. It's always gonna work. And then if you get to a point that is just like completely impossible to tune, then you unpeg the string, you unroll it, you take it off, take the peg out, use this product around the peg, then you put it back, and then it helps a lot with the grip. So when you do that process, do not take off all the strings and put the pegs in. Do one at a time because the bridge is getting shifted and then it will be very hard to find the right angle. But also I feel like a lot of people don't know the exact placement of some of the strings, so then they roll it back in different spots. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're a violinist and again I missed out some things, let me know.